On today's video, we're going to put backsplash on the back of our counter. And what we've decided to do is that we've got these glass little tiles. They're all fastened to a kind of a netting kind of thing. And what you do is you put your grout down on the wall, and then these stick on, and the next one fits right in here. It's sort of like a Tetris or Lego blocks. They just fit right together. And then if you come to an end here, you would take your saw and you would cut it here, or wherever you would cut it, like it would be up against the wall. Things like your plugins and so on will have to come out a little bit, and that way they would be level with your tiles. And then of course you'd have to cut around windows and stuff like that. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to start measuring, make sure everything's level. We're not going to put any over here, but we are going to put the tiles all the way from that corner over to the lip right here where it ends, and then of course, like I say, underneath the window. So I'm going to and then when you're all done, you put a silicone that's made for counters and kitchens, so that way the moisture doesn't get underneath. And we'll probably go right up to the bottom of the lip here, but we'll see when we do it. I might just keep it one sheet high, but we'll figure that out when we're going along. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. These are light gray, light tan, clear, and maybe a little bit of dark brown in there too. So it should all match your counter not too bad. I've taken some measurements, and as you see, it's nice and level down at this end of the counter and up to about there, and then from here for the next few feet it drops down to almost 1/4 of an inch, and then it goes back up. So I put a line, and there's a little thin fishing line here from one corner to the other corner. That gives me a straight line. The distance from here, which is the top of the backsplash on the counter that's there now, to the bottom of the windowsill or the window trim, is 4 3/8. 4 3/8 is from this glass tile to that glass tile. So this row here will now be the bottom row. That'll be just above this backsplash that's there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some grout. I'm going to take some mortar, and it'll be about 8 inches high to 9 inches high, and we'll put it on here for about 2 feet. Then we'll take a row of glass tiles, and you see these ones here have like a little netting in back, so it's just easy to cut off the 3 or 4 rows we don't need, and then it'll go up against the corner like this. So we'll do one, and then when I put the second one on, they just go right together like that. So they just go one right after another. So we'll do a couple rows, then I've got to figure out I'll take the cover off, and then we got to figure out how much of this we have to cut around the tiles themselves, and then that'll fit there, and then of course then we'll continue on underneath there. So once I get some mortar on, I will come back and I'll show you when I put the first tile or first sheet of tiles on the backsplash. So because I removed the bottom 3 or 4 rows, I took my knife and I cut along here. Then I marked a straight line straight up like this, and that was to cover it up right against that wall. Took my glass cutter and I scratched the line across there. Then I put another board on top here, and then I used my pliers and I just snapped them down, and they broke right off nicely. So with that done, I took my mortar, mixed it with some water. I used my trowel, and this one has little teeth on it, probably 1/8 of an inch or so. I measured up 8 1/2 inches and over to about 2 feet, which is about where the tile two blocks finish. And then I very carefully put it up against the wall, left it a little bit above the backsplash that's on the counter now, and to make sure it wouldn't fall down, it's about 1
nail in between. This is the thickness, so I put a nail on that side and there. Then I put my second one on, and I did the same thing, and I made sure wherever one finished, another one lined up. So that's where the one comes to the end, that's when the next one starts. So that's two. I put a little bit of Scotch tape here. This is the packing tape, just so the mortar would not get on my backsplash that's on the counter. And then I wiped it off of a wet cloth, anything that did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm taking the light switch thing off, cover off, and then we'll measure the next one. The next one should probably go to pretty close to the end of this one, and we'll get that one cut out and then on. So, and I have enough mortar to do that much. So this is the next piece of backsplash that I'll be putting on. Right there is the area that I cut out for the electrical switch. This is the electrical switch that's going to go in. I pulled the electrical switch out. The backsplash will go in behind it a little bit, but I have to make sure I can still screw it in, so that's why the mortar is a bit above the hole there. The backsplash is going to go this far for this sheet, and so I've put it on. I've used my trowel to put it on again. So we'll put it on just like the other ones. I'll put a couple nails to hold it in for it's up high, and then when that dries, we'll have three done. So let's get it on. So that's 3 squares done, about 36 feet. So the next one now will butt up against here. We'll have to cut out for the window, and then it'll run underneath the window for a ways. So I have some more cutting to do. So obviously you've seen this. I still got to do this little spot here. This is it right here. There's a line you can see going up and down there. That line will be right along here, and then I have to cut this piece right there, and that will be right there. And then I'll need to put one little small piece of tile right there, and then that will be finished. Again, I'm using my nails. Now, because my counter dips in the middle, I put a nail at the first spot it dips there, so when I laid the tiles down, it's set right on the nail, so now I know it's all nice and level. So I finished the first 8.5 inches across the counter here, all the way to the end. So now what I'm going to do is, because I cut off 3 inches from the bottom of my sheet of glass tiles, I am now going to install those above that. So that's where we're going to stop when that rolls on. So I'm going to do that all the way across. I'll have to cut them, always I'll have to cut them straight here so they'll fit up against the wall, and I'll have to cut them over here and so on for both sides. So I finally got the mortar part done. This is the microwave counter, and I went right over to the wall. I did a little bit of a border coming up here so it's all nice and squared off. So I'm going to let this dry for a couple or 3 days. Tonight, it's right now it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but tonight I'll give it a wipe down to get any of the mortar that's on the tiles. Obviously you can see there's mortar on the tiles. Wipe them down, get them clear. Tomorrow I'll pull up my nails and stuff. That's just to help hold it perfectly straight going up and so on. And anyway, grout is next, but we'll wait a couple of days. I'm going to put a gray grout in between this.